Hello everybody, all light workers and keepers of the peace. That's what's coming out. Yeah. Alright, so this is vickieverlie, the rock and roll prophetess. We're going to take a look at today the new moon in Scorpio, which is occurring on November 15th. It's going to be in the 14th for some places, I'm sure, but it's 12:08 a.m. Eastern time. Time's going to vary. It could be the 14th or the 15th where you are. So this is our annual new moon in Scorpio, and it's at a time of transition. We're facilitating holding space for the changes of energy. You know, that seems to be what's going on. By the way, I'm vickieverlie here, rock and roll prophetess. I do psychic tarot and astrology and channeling. Been a professional reader for over 30 years. This is a psychic astrology reading, so therefore I'm going to be coloring outside the lines quite a bit. If you're a real traditional astrologer, this might not be the reading for you. And on the other hand, if you're somebody who knows nothing about astrology and thinks this looks like a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo, hang in there because it gets more and more psychic as we go along. So yeah, it's the new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio rules the 8th house. It's 8th house Scorpio and Pluto, so it's death and rebirth, it's change. And it is at 23 degrees of Scorpio, sextiling its ruler and sextiling the conjunction of the Pluto-Jupiter, which is still in the orb here. So this is super powerful. Pluto is being amplified by this new moon energy because Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio in the 8th house. And Pluto is being amplified because Jupiter amplifies everything that it comes by. It's an amplifier. It makes things bigger. It makes it go stronger. It expands the energy of. So it's really a lot about Pluto energy right now. And Pluto, of course, is the god of the underworld. It's transformation. There's always death and rebirth. Was it Persephone? I wasn't planning on really... I don't ever look at things ahead of time. If you've never seen my reading, I just kind of like to open it up and go, you know, see what comes through. But I would have read up on the mythology of Pluto a little more if I knew we were going to hone in on this. But I believe it's Persephone, isn't it? But there's somebody, and he kidnaps her, or their mother makes an agreement that she spends half the year in hell or wherever, the underworld, with him. And then in the spring she comes out back to her mother, and her mother puts the flowers out everywhere. It makes everything beautiful again because her daughter came home. So this is seasonally too. We are in, especially if you're in the southern hemisphere, you know, this is a transition time, whether it's autumn or spring where you're at. It's a transitional time. We're transitioning from one thing to another. The Scorpio-Pluto energy really facilitates that. We're having this death and rebirth. It's conjunct with Pallas, which is brilliance. Pallas Athena, also a warrior, and it represents brilliance. You know, actually this thing is sextiling this whole stellium here in Capricorn here. So there's a change going on in the Saturn, Capricorn. Saturn and Capricorn are the same vibrational energies. There's a change going on in that. Now, it is the powers that be. Saturn is the patriarchy. It's the father of the gods and everything. So there's that element. But the 10th house, it's been coming to me more and more lately in readings and stuff lately too. It's like the 10th house is what really... We always think of it as a success in the outer world and you know, being on top in our career is the 10th house. But really, I think the 10th house is what we aspire to. It's our highest aspirations, or the best we can do with our life, with our incarnation even. You could look at it that way. And therefore, it's... maybe that's what's changing. Maybe that's what we are aspiring toward, or what we deem to be the most important, or of the most value, or holds the highest prestige. Is power and authority, does that hold the highest prestige? Or is it maybe integrity and, you know, there's many things. many people are working from home, you know, and have worked from home or have been out of work. You know, we've been in quarantine's been happening. We're home more. I'm home all the time anyway. It's really no different for me very much. But did we value, you know, being out there and having this big career, and that was what our life was all about? But really, the home is like the inner. It's caused us all to go within. And maybe there's inward things and inner work and inner exploration, because Neptune's involved here too. It's trining Neptune. Neptune's with the nodes. We're going to talk about that again, because that's right on too. But Neptune's in it too, so this is our inner world. This is our connection to our soul, our connection to our spirit. And when you're always out there with all the noise and all the traffic and just the noise of, this doesn't have to be actual noise, you know, cars going by and buses and sirens, that kind of noise, like city noise, you know, or that. But it can be noise, the noise inside your own head. But what I was getting to more was just the noise of the energy. It's there's frictional. It's frictional. There's friction happening. It's jaggedy. Somebody I used to date thought I was agoraphobic, but I don't think I'm agoraphobic. But when I walk, like if you're sensitive, which I think a lot of people are who watch this, you know, and you have your aura really expanded, it can be a real shock. What I was getting to is I remember walking into concerts when you're around you know, a lot of them are in arenas, and you walk around the outer arena, and then you walk in, and there's like 50, 80,000 people in there, and you just get hit in the face with this energy, and it would just, you know, I would have to hold on to him or a railing or something, just for a minute to just get my bearings or something. But then once I got in there, you know, I got acclimated with it, of course. But that's what being this career-driven kind of vibe is too. There's just a lot of wah. You know, you're getting hit in the face with a lot of wah. And it's, the people at a concert are there to enjoy the music, so I think that's even a different thing. But if you go into a busy office building, like a there's all these cubicles inside of these square office buildings everywhere, and everybody's, you know, got their mouse and they're on their computer and excuse me, multitasking and excuse me, and deadlines and, you know, stuff like that you have to deal with. Excuse me, let me get a cough drop. A smudge is bothering me. I got a little smudge burn, it might be choking me out here. But it's intense, you know, and it's not conducive to inner peace or finding that balance, you know. And traditionally, again, that's the 10th house. Drive, ambition, succeed, compete, succeed, you know. Pluto going through the 10th house, you know, the Capricorn, you know, in the flat wheel, the 10th house energy, maybe it's changing. This is something that is not apparent. With Neptune, too, it might not be obvious. That's the other part of it, too. Neptune is real subtle. And things that aren't aggressive, the opposite of aggression, whatever that would be, peacefulness, I don't know, but it's not in your face, usually. It is subtle. You have to listen. You have to listen for it. You have to look for it, you have to listen for it. I forgot where I was going with it. It has to be cultivated. You know, that's what I'm hearing. It has to be cultivated. But what if that's what it's showing us? What do we value? 10th house is what we're striving for, what we want to achieve. What do we want to achieve? Is career the be-all and end-all of everything? Is being in a stressed-out cubicle in some office conglomeration with, you know, 1,000 other stressed-out people in cubicles, and is that what we want to achieve? Or, you know, that's always been, nobody wants to be there. I guess it's just a means to the end, you know, a means to an end, to get the money, to get the prestige and the power and all that stuff. But what about your inner power? I think that's a big thing that's been highly overlooked about the Pluto, which is new moon again. That's why I'm focusing so much on Pluto if you're not following. And Pluto's been in there for a while. It's at 23 degrees. I mean, it's been in there for a few years at least. I don't know exactly how many years, but it's been in there for a little bit here in Capricorn. Several years probably. And it was joined with Saturn a couple years ago, and it was joined with Jupiter this year. And Pallas, that's an asteroid, but these big three here. And also, with a lot of things that are happening in the world, it's brought out stuff that was hidden. Because Neptune isn't all just hidden. No, it's highly spiritual. The fish swim two ways. Fish swims upward. It's highly spiritual. It's intuitive. It's our inner worlds and all this good stuff. But then there's this, the underbelly of it, the negative. Well, it's drug addiction, that's the typical things, mental illness, drug addiction. But it's also secrets and lies and, things that are going on hidden, things that are hidden, clandestine, you can't even, And so this has also been brought out and showed to us. It's brought out right in our face and showed to us. It's not hidden anymore. It's all been shown. You're not hiding. Nobody's hiding anymore. You see who you really are. You see what you really, you see where you're at. You see where people are at. And with Jupiter and Neptune, the answer is not to berate, shame, try to punish, try to force someone to conform, or confirmation I don't think is the right word, but conform, conformity, to force conformity. That's not the deal. That's not the way to really create big changes that are wanting to come through. The way is to do it energetically. And, for those of my regular viewers, I'm on my second book already. I'm way into it. I'm about 100 pages into the second book, 100. And, that's what the guys are just saying. It's all about the holding of the space. It's all about the holding of the space. Arguing till you're blue in the face does no good, only infuriates. It's holding of the space, keepers of the peace. That's what they said to light workers. Another word for light workers is keepers of the peace. I think that was it. It had something to do with that. And during times of transition, that's when the keeping of the peace energy is so needed and so, it's just, it's where to go. Even for your own peace and your own nervous system and your own well-being, mental, physical, well-being. But by doing so, this has nowhere to go. Somebody's yeah, and then you're yeah. It's just and it's just, and you're still here floating. You're still floating in the Neptune. If you're not putting up, if you're not resistance. Right now is not a time of resistance. I mean, it is, but that's, if we go into the Neptune energy and the highest expression, see, every planet, just like the fish swimming upward, the fish swimming downward, as I said earlier, every planet, every astrological aspect and house and all this stuff, it all has, a divine expression. And then it has another, there's not like, oh, well, Saturn's bad. Saturn and Pluto are bad. Is it good or bad? It's just, it is. It is what it is. It is energy, and it's how you use it. And you can use these energies for power. Now, back to Neptune with this node thing. This has been going on a while, but it's really right in here at this time, too. And so we've got the North Node in Gemini at 20 degrees of Gemini, the South Node 20 degrees of Sagittarius, and then Neptune's in here, making a square. We've got a T-square. So, the South, this is your mental mind. This is your everyday thoughts and ideas, communication on a really basic level, everyday level. This is higher esoteric knowledge. This is more closely aligned with the realm of Neptune. Sagittarius is, Jupiter is also the ruler of that. So Jupiter, this is coming into this thing too. It's coming into the vibe here. It's influencing. Because everything I say about Sagittarius is true of Jupiter also. Okay, so it's higher mind, it's esoteric, it's spiritual, but it's in the South Node position. So now we're in a time where, with information age and everything, where we can, there isn't so much the secret societies as there used to be. I mean, I guess there are. But a lot of, I'm just coming to mind, I'm thinking of Reiki, you know. I remember back when I used to do the psychic fairs, like in the 80s, Reiki was a big secret. It was a big secret. Now, and then somebody came out with a book and everybody flipped out. You know, how dare they put the book out and show people the symbols and all this stuff. And now there's 100 videos on YouTube about how to do it. You know, it's everywhere. My one friend was saying, yeah, even jewelry. They make jewelry out of the symbols. But is that a bad thing? Or is that, you know, bringing it down so it's available for everybody? And in a way that everybody can understand and use and utilize, you know. It's not just, there's a bit of elitism with this. Like, oh, I'm more educated than you, I know, you know, I've studied longer, I have more credential, you know, I'm awakened and you're not, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know. Everybody's constantly, we awake, it's a flower, they're showing me the flower opening, it's always opening, it's a continual process that goes on and on. And where you're at, maybe, you know, it's not about, well, I say it's this way because this is my teaching, and I'm the authority and you're going to do it my way. It's like, no, well, what do you think? Let's have a dialogue. Let's have you know, let's have some communication. Let's open the line, open the channels of communication. Overall, that's what this time frame we're in, while the nodes, I don't know, a couple of years or something, while the nodes stay in the sign of Gemini, and in a third, you know, with carrying it with the third house energy. The third house, Gemini and Mercury. Okay, so Lilith is with Uranus. So Lilith wants to, you know, there's definitely a thing, you know, that's opposing Mercury over here in Scorpio. So Lilith can be a little harsh. She's not soft, that's for sure. Lilith is an empowered woman, but a certain kind of empowered woman, you know. She's tired of waiting around. She's not going to be docile or passive in any way. She's kind of an in-your-face sort of gal, you know. And opposing Mercury and with Uranus. So we want our freedom. When do we want it? Now. We want our freedom. Mercury, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to say what we think. We want our freedom. And this, you know, it's funny, I didn't notice this till just now. I'm more, I don't know if it's just me and my, what I'm tuning into and my path of the path that I'm trying to follow to go more of the high spiritual way. Or is this the more dominant energy? Or again, is it just a dominant energy in my outlook, you know? But I didn't even notice this thing, you know. But it's here. So there is still talk of revolution and overthrowing and revolt and all this kind of stuff is going on. But, you know, it's funny, it's Mercury. I wonder if it's just talk. You know, I'm not sure. It's really, it just isn't standing out to me. I just can't, you know, it's not amplified. It's very subdued to me. This could bring enlightenment too. You know, Lilith is like, she's not for, you know, she's for truth herself, you know. She's for truth and equality and things like that. And Uranus could be enlightening. Taurus is a fixed sign. Taurus are very fixed. And of the fixed signs, I would say Taurus is the most fixed. Stubborn as a bull. You know, they think of, what's one of the key words for the Taurus? Stubborn, you know. And they just don't like their feather. They like things to be the way there's going to be, and they don't want a lot of change and upheaval, and they don't really like that. And they can just because they don't want to bother with, you know, have their life upheaval, they can, oh, sorry about that. They can be the ones who just say, no, I don't want to change just because of that. Not even because of, maybe they haven't put much thought into it at all. It's just like, I just don't want to change. I'm happy right where I'm at. I'm planted here. I don't want to move. I don't want to change jobs. I don't want to change houses. I'm fine. Let's just be where we're going to be. And Uranus could be enlightening that factor, not just for Taurus people, just for that kind of mindset into, well, maybe we do need some change. Maybe even though it might be uncomfortable, and even though it might be it's not traditional the way things are done. Both of these Capricorn and Taurus energy are both very much, there's tradition. This is the way we do things. This is the way it's always been done. And Uranus is saying, well, hey, think about it a little bit. Think about it. I'm singing that. Hey, think about what you're trying to do to me. Oh, no. What is that? Aretha Franklin. Say, freedom, freedom. What is that? Freedom. Better think. I can't think of the song. It's is that Respect? I don't know. Somebody will know. Put it in the thing. Put it in the comments. But that's what the song that just came through right now. I don't want to sing too much of it because you get problems with that. But anyways, going back to this. Venus is pulling me. What's she doing over here? Well, she's opposing Mars. That can bring a lot of friction too. And Mars is still in a loose conjunction with Chiron. To me, this looks like here, Chiron is like Mars. I don't know, dude. It's kind of like Mars is like, I'm going to go do this and that. I'm going to go, no. And Chiron's like, man, you're on your own. I'm stepping away. I'm stepping back. I was with you for a while, but this is a little bit over the top. And Venus is like, no, you're not going to do that. This reminds me of what they're showing me. What I'm seeing right now is that the guy, remember, he was a protester or a rioter, a looter, and his mom saw him on TV, and she went down there and started beating him. What are you doing? That's what this reminds me of. This would be the mother, and this would be like, I'm gonna go do some crazy stuff, and he's like, whoa, dude, okay. If you want to do that, I'm bowing out. I'm backing off of this. So if Mars is not getting encouragement or adding fuel to the fire, maybe Mars will be like, well, hey, my best friend's not wanting to come with me, and my mom is gonna beat me with her shoe or whatever on TV, whatever she was doing. I don't remember. Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe enlightenment can come. Because Mars, Mars wants to lash out. Mars is, always ready. And Mars in its own sign, in a direct motion here in Aries. It's been retrograding, and it's direct now. It's like fired up, all charged up, and no place to go. All fired up and no place to go. And also, though, if you encounter this kind of energy in its worst form, of the Mars expression of, cocky, bully, angry, shoot back with the Venus. Shoot back with that love energy. Shoot back with that Libra. That's the opposition. That's the counteraction. Let's see if I'm missing any big things. Never fails I get through with all this. So Jupiter's squaring Venus. Venus is squaring Pluto. Venus is squaring all this stuff here too, yeah. Well, actually, there's a big T square in the cardinal signs here with Venus, Mars, and this thing here. But Venus is squaring in there pretty tight, 22 to 23 degrees. 22, exactly. It's exactly squaring it. Well, the highest formation I can think of is like the transitions with love. I really feel like Venus is in a place of power too. So is Mars, but Venus rules over Libra. It's in its own home sign too. So it feels like it's kind of in a place of power here. And a lot of times, but it's like she's saying, no, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm not having it. I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to be your other. I'm not going to be your mirror for your argument. I'm going to, she feels like she's holding them at bay. That's what it really feels like. I'm going to hold you at bay. I'm going to hold you accountable. That's what's coming through. She's going to hold them accountable for their actions. and much in a much like integrity kind of, you know, dignity, integrity. Libra, after all, rules the scales of justice, being balanced. Things being balanced, not things being in chaos and out of whack and crazy. Alright, well, I think that about covers it. Hey, everybody, I'm open for the year ahead readings. A lot of people are ordering them. Many people order them every year. It's a little astrology. I do look in the ephemeris, which I'm real good at. I use the ephemeris, you know, all the years of working the psychic fair pre-computer time. So I can get the gist of your chart just from the ephemeris. It's quick, and I'm not spending a lot of time, you know, on it. And we're going to look at the year ahead, astrology-wise. We look at the eclipses, mainly, is one of the big things, but also any of the big transits. Jupiter and Saturn are going to be moving into Aquarius next year, so people who have a lot of Aquarius in their chart, you're definitely going to have, you know, a banner year, or there could be some shifts and changes happening for you. It's for everybody, but, you know, a lot of the Aquarian energy, you're going to really be affected by it. And then I do a tarot reading of the 4 quarters of the year. It's real popular. It's my most popular reading of my regular or irregular, you know, limited time readings that I offer, the quarterly readings. This is always by far just the most popular. So if you're interested in getting that, please do check it out. Also, my book is out, Transmissions for Humanity, and it's out on Audible finally. So if you are an Audible person and you'd rather listen, you can go to Audible and listen to it. It's also in the Kindle Lending Library, so if you are a member of the Kindle Lending Library, you could also read it for free that way. And I believe both of those, Audible and Kindle, have like free trials or something if you wanted to sign up for any of those things. I don't get any money if you sign up. It's just, you know, they do offer that. Anyhow, new moon Scorpio, transformation. Transformation is afoot. All keepers of light and keepers of peace are called to make space for, we're giving birth. We're giving birth to a new season. Even though it's past the solstice, this is the transformational tipping point with the Scorpio thing. Maybe even just as much as, maybe not quite as much, but close to the autumn equinox. Excuse me, not solstice, the equinox. So it's powerful. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for all your support, liking, sharing, commenting. If you enjoy my content, there is a link below to hit the subscribe button. It does help me in getting my videos ranked and everything, to be seen by people. I appreciate everybody who already does always share and comment and everything that you do, and likes and subscribes and everything. Every information about me can be from my eye in the sky in the corner, about my website, and I have links to everything below. So before you email me with questions, please check all the links in the description of this video or the show more section. Alright, so thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a great new moon in Scorpio, and we'll see you next time.